What's up, guys? UFC 164 has just come to an end, and exactly as predicted earlier via Google Plus Hangout, which was awesome. Shout out to Beer Drank Shorty. Check him out. The dude's funny. Check out his Fallon Fox video, actually, because I had a little beef session with Fallon Fox. I'm just gonna call he or she Fallon Fox. Yeah, I just stop it there. Shout out, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. Let's go down. Let's get to it because it was a brilliant night of fights. 3 UFC cards in 7 days. I wish they would do this all the time. Let's just say, main event was spectacular. I loved every second of every main event. This also may have been a card where we have just saw the last. Yeah, probably the last time we've seen a couple UFC veterans, one of which in Frank Mir. It's a damn shame. He's definitely my favorite heavyweight. UFC 86, 89, he knocked out Nogueira, came back with the rematch, broke his arm. I really thought that maybe Frank Mir still got something. Especially joining the Jackson camp, thought that was good for him. Since then, he's been on a skid. But let's get to it. 3 straight wins. Got Showtime Pettis. He was derailed. He came into the UFC a WEC champion. The thing is there was already a scheduled match for the UFC lightweight champion in Frankie Edgar with Gray Maynard. They were scheduled to rematch. So in the meantime, and Dana White pushes this on his fighters a lot, and that's to stay busy and take fights. Well, he did. He stayed busy. He took a fight with the notorious gatekeeper Clay Guida, who also was on the card tonight, and lost. Yes, he lost the fight, which derailed him and lost him his #1 position. His shot at the title was gone. Since then, it looks like he's been training hard and someone lit a fire under his ass. That Guida fight may have been the greatest thing that ever happened to him. He goes on and fights Jeremy Stevens, takes him to a split decision. Thought it'd be a little bit more exciting. It's fine. But goes on and blows through Joe Lazon with a left high kick, head kick knockout. Beautifully placed, beautifully timed. Vintage Showtime. Then he goes on and Donald Cerrone Showtime, something I always wanted to see, never got to. Didn't last very long. 1 kick to the body. Flashy, effective. He dropped down and basically quit. The referee. That's 2 in a row. 2 stoppages in the first row, both by some sort of fancy, cool-ass, effective kick. Now, I always say that I only order pay-per-views or really pay attention and make these vlogs about fighters that have something special and a certain appeal. The Diaz brothers, John Jones, Lyoto Machida, Kung Lee, Showtime Pettis. You're not going to see kicks. No one's going to run up the cage and throw a roundhouse, using the cage's momentum and actually land it effectively, or like kind of do a handstand, like a cartwheel kick, and land the shit effectively, unless you're watching Anthony Showtime Pettis. But tonight, the night belonged to Ben Rothwell, Chad Mendez, Josh Barnett, and most importantly, it certainly belonged to Showtime Pettis. And Benson Henderson, I do have to say, graceful in defeat. All things are possible through his God, and it was great to see, because if it would have went the other way and he would have won the fight, he would have that would have been the most consecutive title defenses by a lightweight ever. Currently tied up with BJ Penn, who I believe to be the greatest lightweight of all time in UFC history. That would have been great for him. Didn't turn out that way. Instead, it turned out this way. We'll get to it in a second after we discuss Rothwell and Vera. Vera returns to the heavyweight division. I thought he looked good in the heavyweight division. I thought he did not look so good at 205, especially his first fight against Reese Andy. It wasn't much of a fight. He was his cardio. He had none. He was done 2 minutes into the first round. He had nothing left. He managed to squeak out a decision. After that, just didn't look well at all. He actually was cut from the UFC roster, was brought back on a technicality because the opponent that had been beating him up so easily and so badly and outclassing him, he actually just decided to take a break and play drums on his back, and that's no shit. It was Thiago Silva was got his back. Brandon Vera, who was winded and out of breath. Thiago Silva wasn't breathing hard at all. Just started to beat. Just played the drums on dude's back. It was terrible. So, but later on, he tests for positive for steroids. So on a technicality, they bring Vera back. He fights Shogun. Looked all right. I couldn't decide if Shogun looked bad or he looked good. Wasn't sure. But regardless, tonight I had both rounds scored for Vera. I was happy for him until he got knocked the fuck out. The TKO victory came in round 3. He caught a hell of a right hand from Big Ben Rothwell, former IFL champion. Went down, took some more ground and pound, and couldn't get back up. Chad Money Mendez, who was the biggest favorite through Vegas odds makers, he was the biggest favorite on the card. He was actually a 5-1 favorite. Clay Guida plus 475, so about a 5-1 underdog. He held up. He showed why the odds makers are usually correct. The first round, it was a slow, first 2 minutes, but he got the point across. He out-wrestled him. He outclassed him. He was faster, and just like my boy Beer Drink Shorty said earlier today, that hand speed. His hands are looking better and better with every single fight. I think the next fight he should have should be for a title. He knocked out a TKO victory over Clay Guida. Does not come very often. I think the last time I saw him, defeated other than in the decision was Kenny Florian, right? Am I correct? I'm not sure. Either way, third round, I had it scored all three. Round 1, 10-9 Mendez. Same with round 2. In round 3, he manages to put Guida away, and that doesn't happen often. Mir and Barnett was when Dana White tweeted right away, and I'm really glad they did because I had just said the same thing, and that's one word: bullshit. Bullshit. These guys came out to put on a show. They came out banging each other. It's not very often that you have 2 heavyweights that come out and just start to fucking bang. But this is what happened. In case in point, Mir versus Barnett. It was an awesome. They were both swinging for the fences. They were both landing. Mir, my favorite heavyweight, especially when it comes to the ground game. Josh Barnett, most people don't know or have forgotten this, is actually a former UFC champion, and he was young at the time too, as was Mir. Mir won via submission over Tim Sylvia by armbar, broke that shit. Randy Couture in his real prime was holding the belt and got a knockout victory over him. They were both really young. Barnett since has fought tons of fights out of the organization. He fought for Affliction. He fought for Strikeforce. He fought in a heavyweight tournament or the Grand Prix, whatever you want to call it, alongside Fedor Emelianenko and Brett Rogers and Daniel Cormier, who ended up taking it. But this guy, it was basically jiu-jitsu. What I thought it was going to be was jiu-jitsu versus catch wrestling. The sport was growing it was rapidly growing, especially with Tough, the Ultimate Fighter. Frank Mir fought Nogueira for the interim title when the sport, I think, was really taking off, and beats Nogueira for the first time. Nogueira is put away, knocked out in his career. Everyone said, "Oh, it's a fluke," and then they end up rematching, and he does it again, only this time on the ground, and it wasn't until he dislocated Nogueira's right arm with the Kimura. And if you actually watch it, look at the highlight. It is an epic submission from Frank Mir. I thought that his prime might not be over. Especially when he got with Greg Jackson. I thought there's only good things can come from this. And then he takes one knee to the head, went down, but his eyes never rolled back. He did not appear to be not out of it. He was definitely cheated. That was certainly an early stoppage. I hope they don't cut Frank Mir, and I hope to see a rematch soon. But Barnett took home the TKO victory in round 1. Now the main event, immediately Benson Henderson goes in to shoot on Anthony Pettis, and you could see how he's grown just leaps and bounds, especially since the WEC days, let alone when he fought Clay Guida. This kid stuffed. The initial takedown was against the fence, had excellent balance, shucked off the takedown, took a couple of shots, but was very patient and picked, what it was. I think he was gauging the time of Benson Henderson more than anything else. He did take a couple shots, but his style is one style that I will always pay to see. And everyone in the lightweight division, they got their hands full, whoever challenges next, which is going to be what I want people to put in the comment section. We'll get to that in 1 second. He landed a very, very hard, it wasn't a liver shot, actually, it was to the kidney on the other side. He landed a right body kick on Benson Henderson, then something flashy that also, seemed to be effective. It seemed to definitely make Henderson uncomfortable, and Henderson went for the shot and completed it. Got him Pettis on his back. Pettis was on his back for a few seconds before he rolled at the perfect time for a beautifully executed arm bar. So the unsubmittable Bendo, if you've ever seen Cerrone, Henderson won the first time they ever met. He must have tried 70 submissions and had, excuse me, at least half of them fully locked, fully done the correct way. Benson got out. This time there was no getting out. This armbar was locked in solid. Our new champion at lightweight in the UFC is Anthony Pettis, and I couldn't be happier for the guy. He's worked hard. I don't know anyone else that's had a longer road to the UFC title than he has. His ups, his downs. I'm happy for him. I called basically every winner. I really didn't want to say Barnett for the win, but I did. Was really pulling for Jamie Varner. He actually lost split decision to T-Bow tonight. But yeah, will it be the last time we see a couple UFC vets? I don't know. But what I do know is Anthony Showtime Pettis is a complete guy and then some. You know, he's got wrestling, he's got jiu-jitsu, he's got striking, you know, Muay Thai and boxing, and he has style. This guy's got style points in the way that he executes the style in his kicks. The shit works. It's effective. So it's crazy, unpredictable, shit you can't train for. You know, someone's going to have their hands full, which leads me to the comment section. Write in the comment section who you would like to see challenge for Showtime's belt. Do you want to see a rubber match between him and Bendo? Don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to have to climb a ladder. I was immediately, it's going to be Gilbert Melendez, but he's scheduled to beat on Diego Sanchez in a couple months. So he's busy. After he beats Diego, then I would love nothing more than to see that. Tell me who you like. I like Melendez, but he's busy. So I'm going to say next up should be TJ Grant. As soon as he's healthy and cleared and ready to go, I would love to see Showtime versus Grant. You let me know. Like, subscribe, love each other. There's too much hate in the world. I can't take it anymore, man. Some comments that I get and shit that I read on blogs, it's just ridiculous, man. Can't we all? I mean, look, we all love MMA, right? That's why we're doing this. That's why you're watching right now. We love the UFC. We love competition. Let's all get along, take care of each other. As MMA advocates, we should stick together. Pulver Silva 101 Nation.